And welcome to the video about proofreading, specifically looking for spelling, capitalization, punctuation, grammar, and other things that you should be aware of when you are writing a professional piece of writing. Now, even though these are stories, and stories are a little bit more relaxed when it comes to their grammar, you are still getting into the habit of writing professional pieces of writing. We think critically through our writing, and we write for readers. And so when we write, it's very important to think, how will a reader encounter this text, and how can I make this text as approachable as possible for a reader so they can understand what's going on. So I'm going to use this first paragraph as an example. I'll read it out loud first. I thought to myself, why am I doing this? Didn't it hurt enough the last time I was here? My taxi pulled into the crickler driveway of the house, bumbling along over the rats built by years of old oak tree roots trying to leach the sun through the asphalt. First of all, a huge red flag is there are no punctuation marks. I've got one comma here, but I've got multiple sentences in this paragraph with no punctuation marks. Punctuation marks are natural breaks for the reader. Without punctuation marks, it's hard for their brains to process the sentences. And so we punctuate our sentences to give those natural gaps. I thought to myself, why am I doing this? There's a natural gap right here. One way to check for punctuation is to read the sentence out loud in the cadence and the rhythm and the inflection that you intend it to be read in. I thought to myself, pause, comma, why am I doing this? Did you notice also how my voice went up with my inflection? It's a question. Why am I doing this? Anytime your voice goes up, anytime you're asking a question, punctuate it with a question mark. Didn't it hurt enough the last time I was here? There's a natural pause there as well. So you're going to punctuate that one. My taxi pulled into the crickler driveway of the house, bumbling along. So then those are the punctuation marks. Read your sentences out loud and find those natural pausing points. If it's not at the end of a sentence, use a comma. If it's at the end of the sentence, use the appropriate punctuation mark, a period, a question mark, an exclamation point, but please use those sparingly because they get overused. All right, the next thing to point out is that we are missing capital letters. It's really important that you capitalize anytime you use the word I. I is a word in and of itself. It needs to be capitalized. You should also capitalize the first letter of each of your sentences. This is something you learned a long time ago, but it's something that we have broken out of the habit of doing in many ways because of text messaging. Make sure that you capitalize the first letter of each of your sentences. Again, this is because we are writing professionally and because we want our readers to understand what we are writing. You also want your story to stand out more than what's on the page. You want the reader to be in your story, not to be focused on your punctuation or your grammar or your spelling. So we proofread so that our story can shine, not our errors. So once I've capitalized the first letter of each sentence and I've made sure that the word I is always capitalized, I want to pay attention to spelling. My taxi pulled into the crickler driveway of the house. Crickler. What do you think this might have been? Now, Google is really good at reading your mind. Sometimes you can just click on it, see the spelling up here, and think circular. That's totally what I meant to write. And then click that option. Sometimes Google won't catch it. My taxi pulled into the circular driveway of the house, bumbling over the rats. Rats. Are there rats on this driveway? Ooh, sometimes you need to read it yourself to catch those spelling errors. Also, bumbling. Bumbling isn't usually the way that we would describe a car. And once this word is changed to ruts, we can probably think that the car is bouncing or maybe even bumping along over the ruts built by years of old oak tree roots, trying to leach the sun. Maybe not leach, because that's not what that means. Leach means to suck something out of something else. So I think this is supposed to be reach the sun through the asphalt. Now, you might not be able to catch this, and Google didn't catch it either. So if you don't know how to spell a word, look it up. Asphalt. If you don't know how to spell a word, go to Google. How to spell asphalt. And Google's going to tell you how to spell asphalt. So remember, you've got the computer, the world at your fingertips. Get the correct spelling so that you don't spell it incorrectly. When it comes to grammar, in stories, we often break grammatical rules. And that's sometimes okay because we are using dialogue and we are using description and creative writing in a way that might break those grammatical rules. One of the best ways to catch grammar errors, though, is to read your text out loud. Does this sentence sound right? Do I have a subject? Do I have a verb? Read each sentence one at a time out loud and make sure that all of the pieces are there. And sometimes you can catch that awkward phrasing. Thank you for watching this video on proofreading your narrative. I hope that it helps you write and revise your strong stories and improve your writing. Keep moving forward.